Wagwan, everybody. I am your Jamaican queen, Miss Y. You are tuned into How I See It TV, and this is Accurate Context. The Fair Use Act, found in Section 107 of the U.S. Copyright Act, allows for limited use of copyrighted material without permission from the copyright holder for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research. Disclaimer: information provided in this video is for entertainment purposes only and is a portrayal of events based on my opinion. I cannot guarantee the accuracy of any comment made, and I take no responsibility for any opinion expressed by individuals who engage with or share my content. Before we get into my commentary, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. So Keke, you're in danger, girl, and you're in danger because you don't listen. So, in a recently released phone call audio, Keke was on the phone with a blogger. And during the conversation, the blogger was trying to lead Keke, in my opinion, into saying some negative things about Melody. And in part of the conversation, the blogger brought up how he felt some type of way on Keke's behalf that Melody would tell her to bring to the show a storyline about a question of paternity. In the call, Keke basically said that, because her Aunt Wanda had mentioned it, I guess probably on her YouTube channel, Melody felt like it would be a great idea to make that a part of her storyline on the show, especially because Wanda was out there questioning Sugar Mama's paternity. And Keke, though the blogger was saying, what kind of friend would ask you to do something like that, because that could, affect your kids negatively and your marriage negatively. And Keke was like, and when I walked away from that conversation, I didn't really know how to take it. She almost made it sound like she felt like Mel was coming from a place of trying to set her up. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. And this is all allegedly, because we don't know if that's how the conversation actually went down between her and Mel. And we also don't know if the audio, the phone call recording, was cut and sliced up to make it appear that this is how Keke was responding during this conversation. Right? Now Keke went live after this audio was released, and she said basically hindsight is 2020, because when she first told her aunt about Mel's alleged request, her aunt was like, don't bring that mess to the show, Melody's just gonna use it against you, blah blah blah. And Keke felt like, okay, she's going to listen to what her aunt said, and her mom also didn't feel like it was a good idea. But now looking back, she's realizing that her aunt is out here using that information all over her YouTube, telling her business, whether it's true or not. And we saw last night during the reunion that Tisha just paraded Keke with her own tea, revealing that Keke and Ahmad, they've been cheating on each other throughout their relationship and throughout their marriage. Now, if Keke had just listened to Melody, because Keke said in that phone call audio that, Melody knows the game and does. And so Keke, if you had listened to Melody and you had come on the show and sprayed your own tea, all your tea, Tisha wouldn't be able to gag you on that reunion stage. And if y'all recall, in season 1, Melody tried to put Tisha up on game. They had a little sit down, and Mel said, if you really want to go back out there into the workforce, you want to start focusing on your career again, you want to boss up, let me show you how you can do all of that while still being a great mom, while still being a great wife. And what did Tisha do? Excuse me. When Mel said, let me give you the blueprint because I have the blueprint. I'm doing all of these things. What did Tisha do? She went back to Kimmy and she made the conversation with Melody sound like something else. And when Kimmy started to go off like, how is Mel gonna give you the blueprint when her husband is out here cheating? Mel wasn't talking about that in that scene with Tisha. She was very open and honest with Tisha in that, Martel was out here doing me dirt and I left. I left him for 6 months and I focused on me, my children, and my career. And whether or not some of y'all want to believe this, a woman can be moving mountains in her marriage to make her husband happy. He will still cheat. So when Kimmy started to go off and Tisha didn't correct her, like, no, that's really not how the conversation went. I was asking her for advice. I wanted to know how she has managed to still be this amazing mom while going after her goals. And she was saying, let me show you, let me help you network. That's how the conversation went. But instead of Tisha correcting Kimmy, she allowed Kimmy to go off and she was like, girl. And for me, that's the same thing that Keke was doing in this conversation with this blogger. I don't think that she corrected him. She probably didn't want to offend him. So that's why she didn't say, look, I'm not going to allow you to talk about Mel like that. I don't feel like she was coming from a bad place when she said, use that as part of my storyline. She was just, yeah, that's what I thought. It's the same thing. The same thing Tisha did in terms of her conversation with Melody, and then when she had the conversation with Kimmy. For me, it's the same thing Keke did as it relates to the alleged conversation she had with Melody and how her and the blogger were on this phone call. And it's starting to seem like Melody is always trying to put these women up on game. She always wants to help. She always wants to give them the blueprint. She always wants to show people that this is the path that you can take if you want to get from point A to point Z, just like I have done. And they always take that the wrong way. Just like Tisha, after she had the conversation with Melody in season 1 about Mel giving her the blueprint, she took that the wrong way. Melody invited, Kimmy and Tisha to a gala during Christmas time, and Kimmy took that the wrong way as well, because she felt like Mel was just being bougie, not wanting to spend time with her family during Christmas, and not looking at it as, no, Mel is trying to get us to network, right? You can still spend the entire Christmas day with your family, put your kids to bed, and at 9:00, put on your nice clothes and go down to the gala and rub shoulders with people who can help you advance in your career. Nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's bougie about that. That's called understanding how you're going to build generational wealth. It's not just about money, but it's also about your network. And now Keke in her alleged conversation with Mel, seems like she took that the wrong way. Because I feel like Melody was trying to put Keke on game. And this is how I feel that conversation actually might have went down. When Keke finally told Mel that she really wanted to be on the show, Mel said, bet, you want to be on the show? I can make it happen. Why did you not ever tell me that you wanted to be on the show? You could have been on the show from the jump, right? Mel went, she made the phone call, and then she got back to Keke and she's like, look, this is how this is going to work. I already talked to the producers. They're okay with you being on the show because you know all the players. But you have to have a story. You have to have a storyline. What's going on in your life, Keke? At this point, as viewers and as people who watch Keke's lives, IG lives, we have no idea what Keke does for a 9 to 5 outside of being on the show, right? So let's say in having this alleged conversation with Melody, Melody puts her executive producer cap on and she's like, okay, when they call you, these are the questions they're going to ask you. What's happening in your life? Do you have a business that you're trying to launch or a business that you've already launched and is doing well and you want to have an event surrounding that business? Keke probably said no to that. She probably said, last time we chat, you and Tisha weren't in a good place. How are y'all? And Keke probably said, well, I'm still holding on to some feelings of resentment, with my drug addiction. I still feel some type of way that she and Marsaw told, you and Martell my business. And Mel said, well, you can explore that in a scene with your cousin. You can talk about how that made you feel. Mel said, okay, what else? Because you have to have a riveting storyline. It's going to be your first season at shooting so many scenes. You have to have something that's also going to grab the audience, and you have to have something that's going to make the producers say, yes, definitely, you definitely need to be on the show. And Mel probably said, look at me, for example. I didn't want to do the show when I found out that Martell was, cheating on me, because if you're on reality TV, it's not going to take any amount of time for people to start digging into your life and finding certain things out. And I wanted to get ahead of other people talking about Martell cheating on me. So I felt at the time that he wasn't cheating on me anymore, but I still felt like we needed to discuss it if we were going to be on TV and we were going to give people an authentic story. And that's when Keke probably said, well, yeah, Ahmad and we struggle with infidelity in our marriage as well. He's cheated on me. I've cheated on him. And Mel probably said, well, you should talk about that. Don't let anybody else spray you with your own tea, girl. You got to handle your scandal. You know what I mean? You don't want Tisha on Mad Day to bring up that there's infidelity in your marriage. You don't want Wanda on Mad Day to say it on camera either. You have to be the one to tell the people so that you can create your own narrative surrounding your life. And, Keke probably also said, my Aunt Wanda, she's been on YouTube talking about me like a dog, saying how, my parents wanted to unalive me and make me a heaven baby before I came into the world. And Mel said, well, that's horrible. Wanda's been talking about Sugar Mama too, and talking about how, Sugar Mama's paternity is being questioned. And during this season, I might have to have a conversation with Wanda, because this isn't the first or the second or the third time she's had my children's name in her mouth. And this is when Keke probably brought up how Wanda has questioned the paternity of one of her kids with Ahmad. And Mel said, well, you should talk about it because I'm going to talk about how Wanda is questioning Sugar Mama's paternity. So you also talking about how she's done it to you will show a pattern of behavior. And Keke should have listened. And when we look at everything Wanda has said about Keke on her YouTube, and when we think about what Tisha said on the reunion stage last night, and now everything that Keke is revealing, Keke is behind. What's the pool reference? She's behind because she could have been ahead of the story all this time. Instead of now being on IG saying, well, I was going to talk about that and I was going to talk about that. Melody, the friend, and Melody, the executive producer of Love and Marriage Huntsville, wasn't leading Keke in a bad direction when she maybe told her that she should talk about these things on the show. Because now Keke has to play catch up. And now she has to explain all these audio recordings. And now she has to clap back at her cousin for saying that Keke and Ahmad, they've been cheating on each other. The viewers should have known this already from you, Keke. This should have been explained. We should have known how y'all got past that. And if there was a question of paternity, then you sit and you talk to your kids and you say, hey, your dad is your dad. But at some point in our relationship, this was a question, and we're going to talk about it on the show to help other people who are probably going through the same things. But you are your dad's biological son. You are your dad's biological daughter. This is just for TV and for education and for entertainment. That's how you should have handled that. And then sprayed your business so that your family members couldn't be out here on Mad Day spraying you. Mel tried to put you up on game, Keke, and you didn't listen. I hope that you do come back to the show, Keke. I hope that you do get to tell your story in your own way. I hope the producers finally allow us to see what this journey of recovery has been like for you. Because at this point, your cousin and your aunt and your cousin-in-law, Marsa, they are making a mockery of opioid addiction. And the US and many other parts of the world, they're going through an opioid crisis. We have professionals at every level being caught up with these pills because their doctors gave it to them and didn't educate them on how dangerous these pills were. You have the opportunity to be on this reality TV show, Keke, and to educate people, and that is being erased by drama with Tisha. That's really irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Melody gave everybody on that show the blueprint of how you come on a reality TV show and you tell your truth and you spray your own business so nobody else can spray you with it. All right, y'all. That's my rant. Thank you for listening. And as I always say, remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment below so I know how you see things too. And as I always say, walk good. Bye.